Hi, I'm James Shillinglaw for Insider Travel Report, and I'm here this week at the Travel and Leisure World's Best Summit. It's the second one I believe I've had, and they invited me this year. It's been a great conference. We're actually at the very end, and I'm here with Paul Brady, who's the news director for Travel and Leisure. And I've known Paul for a while. We end up at the same lunches all the time. But I thought we'd take a minute to talk about this event and also talk about how he covers travel and what's going on and the trends and everything else. And he actually was the host, moderator for several panels at this event. So you're going to hear all about that and a whole lot more on Insider Travel Report. Paul, first of all, great to see you, and thank you again so much. It's been a fascinating conference, a lot of great people, a lot of great networking, and you had some really good panels.
Thank you very much. It's glad to be here. You know, we've known each other for a while, and it's nice to be invited on the program.
Yeah, well, this is your studio. I just came in and threw my camera up, and so it's a beautiful place. Thank you. Maybe I'll take it over here. It's pretty good.
Yeah, well, I'm sure that our revenue folks would love to lease it to you.
I'll be lazy. I don't know about that. We'll see about the cost. But let's talk a little bit about, first of all, this World's Best Summit. What are your takeaways from it?
Yeah, sure. Well, first of all, World's Best Summit really came out of our World's Best Awards, which we've been doing for more than 30 years here at TNL. And the summit, now in our third year, is all about thought leadership for the industry and bringing people together to exchange ideas. I think one that comes to mind immediately is community.
Right.
Travel advisors, travel providers and suppliers, as well as travelers themselves, we're all talking about how to foster community and how to reconnect people with other people. And I think that's a really positive trend.
And you've had panels here looking at those trends. I think you did a panel that I watched all of it. Actually, I was there on private aviation, private jet travel, which is on the upswing, not surprisingly. And you had some other panels that were really good. And there's some other ones that were on service, on obviously, we did have to have one AI ventured panel. It has to be required now, right?
I think AI is a mandatory piece of any conference in any industry at this point, right? I mean, it's a topic fresh on everybody's mind.
Well, speaking of that, you are news editor at Travel and Leisure. What have been sort of the biggest stories this year in your mind?
I think if I had to boil it down to a single word, it would be disruption. And disruption comes in many different forms, right? We have war, we have border crossing snafus, we have government shutdowns, we have heat waves, we have cold snaps. Disruption and how the travel industry navigates it, I think, is the biggest trend that we're watching. And how I think about it for TNL is that we're in the business of promoting travel and encouraging people to travel. So we want to give our readers the information they need to keep exploring the world, as they sure can.
But one of the good things about that is they are exploring the world. They are navigating, especially in the upscale travel sector. Luxury travel has not really been effective. People have, switched around their destinations a little bit, but they are still traveling, right?
That's exactly right. I mean, everybody we talk to mentions that particularly the affluent customer, our readers, continue to invest heavily in travel and sometimes even are trading off in other parts of their lives. One stat that came up at the summit that surprised me is somebody said people are deferring buying a new car so they can go on that 5-figure vacation. And
that's a little scary, actually, but if you can do that, that's a different set. But in terms of the upscale traveler, maybe they will defer on that private jet just so they can get somewhere. But from what your panel told me, it was not the case, that they're actually looking at even more private jet travel, right?
Yeah, it's all about the exclusivity, but also the frictionless aspect. I would say that's something else that's really come up at the summit, is the idea that people want to have the pain points of travel taken away so that they can fully lean into the experience, whether it's an adventure for their own pursuit, time with loved ones, or just, the joy of exploration and learning about the world. There's so many motivators for travel. What I think the affluent customer is looking for is for the friction to be taken out.
Well, and whether that's at the lower end of the travel market or the higher end, nobody wants that friction. And we did talk very briefly about AI, but what has been the impact of AI, at least for your market?
Well, here at TNL, we think of AI as a tool. It helps us as editors do our jobs a little bit easier, and a little bit more efficiently. So I'm spending less time processing contract paperwork for freelancers, for example, and more time interviewing people or talking to experts, or quite frankly, planning for and hosting the World's Best Summit. So we use it as a tool, not as a content generation operation, but something to make our business more efficient so that we can focus on being creative and talking to people and learning about what's going on out there.
Which is your role, and that, that contract stuff. I don't like that much either. I don't like assigning it. I don't like anything else. I usually just go on all the trips myself.
Well, that's another strategy.
I'm trying to build up to 200, 300 days a year of travel, and then I won't be around very much, right?
Well, and you don't have to pay those AI LLM fees that way, right?
That's absolutely true. Now, going forward, what is the role of a I'd say publication, but you're more than just a publication. You're expanding in other ways. You announced here a new product that you're going to be on. What is it? It's the
Substack.
Substack.
Yes.
I, as you can tell right away, I've heard of it, but I haven't been on it. But actually, I signed up for it already. It's what's it? Travel and Leisure.
We're calling it the Fast Track by Travel and Leisure. It's our new Substack newsletter, which, yes, we launched during the summit. And you're exactly right. We've gone from being a publication to a brand. And that maybe sounds a little cliche or like a marketing line, but we really are a brand that people can resonate with and trust. And so that's built on a layer of 50 plus years of publishing this magazine, which, by the way, continues to go to 1 million paid subscribers every month. And also, we have our website. Also, we have our Substack. We have other email newsletters. We have a social channel with a huge following and a really engaged audience. We're experimenting with LinkedIn. We're doing live events. And all of that, I think, comes from the brand of Travel and Leisure and the fact that we have real human people going out, experiencing the world, talking to travel advisors, talking to our readers, commissioning surveys like, the World's Best Awards, which are based on reader feedback. So all of that data is coming in, and we're using our human taste and knowledge and experience to curate that for our audience and help save them time and point them to smarter choices.
Well, you're trying to be in a lot of different venues with your information and getting it out. We all love magazines. You and I both grew up with magazines. My first magazine in travel doesn't exist anymore. Print is out. At least it still exists in the trade side, but it's gone. So I've gone to online and video and YouTube. So it's a little different. But you're working on a lot of different things that I think sound really interesting and very effective. That's why I signed up right away. So it is, I do think there's a role for publications like yours and even mine as we explore different ways and areas of getting it out there, right?
Yeah, for sure. Listen, one thing that hasn't changed and will not change, whether there's AI or something else that comes along after that, people need to know where to go, what to do, how to spend their money, and they need help making those decisions. And so I think where Travel and Leisure really excels is looking at the landscape and then helping readers, real travelers, make smarter decisions using our expertise. And there's always going to be a market for that.
Absolutely. Well, though, I got to tell you, when Jackie Gifford introduced your chairman, Barry Diller, who I know, they got into a conversation and said, "What's your next brand extension?" She said, "Well, maybe you should be working on a TV program like The White Lotus, and you should have." And so now we joked, Jackie and I joked that that's her next role is to create a new TV program based on Travel and Leisure that'll be all over the place. I don't know if are you going to be in it?
Well, the funny thing to me about White Lotus is that show is really about guests who end up murdered. So I'm not sure I want to be cast.
That's true. I don't know if that brand extension works too well, but it definitely was, although I got to tell you, I think it might be over, the whole thing. White Lotus was great. So it's up to you guys to do the next one. Maybe you don't have to have murders involved.
Yeah, well, there's always something else. People always want to watch something else, read something else, go somewhere else. So there's always more content to come up with that we'll see what it is.
Absolutely. Well, Paul, thank you very much. And we're at the very end of this wonderful conference. You got another one you're doing in London, I believe. Good luck with that one, too. But again, it's great to see you, and I'm sure I'll see you on the road or in New York sometime.
Sounds great. Thanks. Really nice to be with you.
I'm James Shillinglaw, and this is Insider's Travel Report.